What's going on, everybody? This is Ilbei Catch from Long Island, New York. But today I am in Alaca, Çorum, where I was growing up till I moved to United States when I was 13. I'm gonna show you where I was born, where I was growing up, and the city I was born in. Also the town I grew up in and the village I was growing up in. Watch the video, like, subscribe, comments, and then we'll go from there.
Büyük işler başaracağız. Türk milletinin karakteri yüksektir. Türk milleti çalışkandır. Türk milleti zekidir. Türk milleti çalışkandır. Türk milleti zekidir.
This is the city that I was born in, Yozğat. I don't know exactly where, but it's in the center, city center, in an apartment. And I came over here, Yozğat, center, where I was born at. This right here, wasn't here when I was a little kid.
Aşk Yozgat'ta yaşanıyor güzelim kız.
فذوقوا الخسارى وعودوا الفرارى بليل السرى إليكم سنأتي بذبح وموت بخوف وصمت نشق إليكم سنأتي بذبح وموت بخوف وصمت.
There's two brown houses. I used to come here, owned by my uncle, the brown apartments. I used to come here as a little kid. Now there's an underground highway going through. There was one highway going through, now everything else. This was the place I was grew up in. I lived here 13 years. This whole yard used to belong to my grandparents. He had 2, 3 more siblings, so they divide the place 4 pieces. One belonged to my grandfather, where you see this red house. The other one belonged to my grandfather's sister, and the other 2 pieces belonged to my grandfather's brothers. That one right there and that one on the side. So this was a whole yard, this street, connected to other side of the street. There's a street here, and there was a street over there. And that side over there, that building, you can see white and gray. That one right there used to belong to my father's father. And then also they sold that property and they built a house. These are the streets right here. I played soccer, used to run around, go into people's houses, yards, taking apples, plums, all kind of fruits. As you can see, my grandmother's house has cherries, 1 cherry tree, and it had like an apple tree in the back. She has like an apple tree in the back. There used to be a building right here I used to go into. It was my friend's house. As you can see, they have apples over here too. Apple tree. And then this was one of the streets I used to play from long as I know myself till age of 13. Let's go check out the other street. This is back of my grandmother's place. I used to go around. There was a building here. I remember going into the roof, get stuck in there for 3 hours trying to get some wild pigeons. And then the owner came. He didn't leave the yard for almost 3 hours. This right here, I got my butt kicked in there one time when I was little from the street hoodlums. I remember. Over here used to be a movie theater. That building straight up right there used to be a movie theater there. We used to go to movies. And they built a whole bunch of houses. These are the other streets, side streets. Used to be an arcade room over there I used to go to back in the day. Right here, this was the building my grandfather's brother owned. I mean, it was a land, but they built in a building. Next door was my other one, and the next to it is my father's father, my grandfather. My childhood passed on the street right here. That one owned by my uncle's wife family. This was it right here. This was the street that I grew up in. I used to come to this house a lot. My friend's father owned this shop. I used to come to the shop a lot. Used to be one little thing. Now it's a big street. This was the other side. Used to be a mosque here. Mosque is still here, but I used to come to this mosque. This was my best friend's house. I used to go over there a lot too. That's the back street. And I used to ride my bicycle here on these sidewalks. This was the main street. It goes to the city center. Goes down. I remember they were building this mosque back in the day. I think it was complete before I left, but this was my childhood pass through. Now let's go to the village. This is the elementary school I went to right here. I remember it wasn't like this. It was all dirt. Huh? Okula mı gidiyorsun burada? The local kids are talking to me here. I was like that. I was like these little kids back in the day. This was the elementary school I went to, first and second grade. He? İlkokul gittiğim okulu çekiyorum. Yo, sağ olasın amme. The employee is asking me what's going on here. Yok ya, ilkokul 1-2'ye gittim burada. Vallahi 80'lerde. This is the hill I used to climb up to go to school here. Right over here. And this was used to be the school. Now it's like a government building. So I used to come here every day. Quarter of a mile, walk down to school from here. I used to walk around these streets right here. Go play soccer. All the way down there. Now it's all changed. Oh, they moved my school here. Used to be, this was the school I used to go to. I guess they moved the school here now. That's the building right there in the mirror. That's crazy. I used to go up and down these roads. These roads right here, it's bricks now, but used to be all dirt. Dirt road. It's amazing. Look at that. My childhood passed through here. This is the other side of Alaca entrance from the city where I was born at. I used to work at this pharmacy right here, coming up. It's my mom's aunt's daughter's husband pharmacy right here, this one. I used to work right here. And then my house is down the block. The streets are terrible, man. So tight, so tiny. The small town like this, the houses are on top of each other. As you can see, this used to be the movie theater right here, and then I used to walk over here to go to the house. Tight road, as you can see, and most of these houses are abandoned right now. Look at this, they just drop people off whichever way they want. This is the road that goes to my father's village, my village. Basically, on the weekends, there was no school till the age of 13. I used to go over here on the weekends all the time. Highway, my village is the second village, so it's about 10 miles to the town. on top of the hill. You can see from right here. That's what it is. So my childhood, basically, when I was till I was 13, passed through here. All these land on the right side, as you can see. Now they have crops, corn, chickpeas, sunflower seeds, sugar beets, wheat, barley. All this right side used to belong to my father's father, my grandfather. All this right side used to back in the day. I remember. And the one on the left side also. As a little kid, I remember coming here, herding my grandfather's sheep and cows. My grandfather had a lot of sheep and cows. If I'm not mistaken, my grandfather had about 300 sheep, 300 cows. I mean, bulls, I should say. Right here. This land all used to belong to my grandfather. I mean, it still has some, little bit, some acres that left to my father, but not big as back in the day. Right here. Yeah, guys, this was my grandfather's farm. Used to be my grandfather's farm back in the day. I remember he had it till 90s, if I'm not mistaken. That's the barn right there. They used to keep the sheep and the cows. This was his apartment right here, 2-floor. I used to sleep downstairs. Upstairs was like a living room. And I remember the wolves used to come from that side. And then sheep used to be over here. Used to have several dogs. And then he still owns back. He left it to my oldest uncle, the land. And I think my father has like a 6-acre share. This is the highway they're going through. The government bought this side right here to make a highway. So my grandfather owns some of this. I mean, all of it right here, all the way down over there. And I used to go through here. There was a driveway here. You used to go right here. And the barn was in the back, as you can see. And he has a gas station. He used to have a mobile gas station back in the day, 80s, over there. And I'm gonna show you that in a little bit. Right here, this was the barn. And this was the house. And as you can see, a lot of dirt over here. See? I don't want to see no stray dogs over here. I don't know if this tree was here before. But I know there's another entrance on that side, the other side. And the barn used to have an entrance right there too. And it used to have a fence right here. It was all fenced in. Right over here. It was all fenced in. The sheep was used to be here. And this is where the gas station used to be. Right here. As you can see, it looks like a gas station. And I remember my grandfather, I used to come here a lot when I was a little kid. A lot. My grandfather had a German Shepherd. And I remember he had puppies. She has puppies right there, that little shed right there. Like I said before, right here, this was the gas station. That used to be where the pumps are back in the day. This was a good gas station for back in the day here, 80s, late 80s. I remember dog giving puppies right there in that little shed. I mean, land still belongs to my grandfather, but I think he's 3 sons, including my father, has a share here in this land. But the government is passing a highway. I mean, it is a highway, but they may extending the highway. So all these land used to belong to my grandfather. I believe some of them still belongs to my grandfather. I mean, now it belongs to my uncle, both of my uncles that passed away, and my father. As you can see, I guess somebody was shooting over here. Yeah, shell casings, shotgun shell casings. Whole bunch of them. I don't know what they were doing here. They probably come in here, hanging out. And this is way back from the gas station to the farm, right here. Not even a half a mile. And then as soon as you pass the farm, the barn, we used to cut through here to go to the village. Right here, between these fields, to go to the village. And then you make quick right here. That's where the village is. And it's called Kızıllı. It's 1 kilometer from right here to there, but it's right there, as you can see. Kızıllı village. Kızıllı köyü. And the cemetery is right here. All my ancestors buried there. My grandfather, my grandmother, my uncles, one of my cousins, 2 of my cousins, my aunts, my uncle's wife, my aunt, right there. That's the cemetery. And this is the village. This is the cemetery where my grandparents, my father's mother, and my father's mother and father rest over here. This is the Kızıllı village cemetery. And as you can see, village is right there. Village is right there on top of the hill. And this is the cemetery where my whole family on my father's side rests. As you can see, this is made by my cousin, volcanic man in Germany. This was named after the water fountain, named after his brother, older brother. He passed away young age, as you can see. And I have my aunt, his mother, right over here. And this is my uncle, his father. He passed away recently. Rest in peace. This is my oldest uncle, my father's oldest brother. Rest in peace. This is my uncle, my father's cousin. He lived in America, in New York with me for a long time. He came over here, passed away. Family member. I don't know exactly who that one was. This is my, I used to call him Grandpa. This is my grandfather's brother. Youngest brother. This is my grandfather's second brother. And this is my grandfather. Rest in peace. Over there is all the family members. Ristamola from Mamak family. And this is my grandfather's, this is the son. This is his mother. I used to call her Grandma. Rest in peace. And they buried my grandmother my grandmother passed away a little further. Before everybody. So they buried her over there by herself. Some odd reason, but she's over here. She's over here somewhere between 2 trees. She has the best place. If I can't find it, every time I come here, I get lost. She's between the trees. Oh, I see it. Right over there. I remember when she passed away. I was young. I was really young right before I left. 2 years before I left. And this is my grandmother. She's between these two trees. And like I said, you can see the villages right there on top of the hill. See, right here, you make that quick right. I mean, everybody in this village is related to each other. See, my father's uncle, my second cousins lived right here. That house, the pink house on the left. I think they still live there. And my aunt lived this house. And my aunt used to have, my aunt's husband used to have, my uncle used to have a little bodega right there. I grew up right here. I used to come here, sleep there. That's one of the houses. My aunt lived there. And then from here, I used to go. And this is my other aunt's house right here. This one. This house. I grew up in this one too. Right over here. As a kid, I used to run around, play games. They made some. I slept over here. This is my aunt's house. Right here. Salamun alaikum. Right here. I grew up right here. This is all my father's uncle's property on the right. I used to come here, sleep right here. He used to have a lot of sheep, dogs, everything. Right here. This is my other relative's house. That right there, my other relative's house. My aunt's actually staying there right now. They built that afterwards. See, this place is good because you have a lot of storks. Every pole, electrical pole, has a nest, stork nest. As you can see. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to follow.